I'll let you know the area I'll be monitoring for signs of potential tropical development in the days ahead, and several tropical waves impacting our area will bring impacts. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. Hey, it's great to see you for the latest video. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we'll be monitoring a couple of tropical waves in the short term, which is bringing very squally weather, heavy rain, gusty winds, and some lightning to our area. It's been exceptionally hot. We'll talk about the chance for rain to cool things down, and I've got all the latest on the tropics, the areas that I'll be monitoring for potential development here through the rest of the week. Let's get started. Meteo Mundo, sponsored by the leading law firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. It's storm season and the storm rolls into your area, get damage of any kind. They will walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. And as always, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments section below where you're viewing from. If you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it down there as well. We'll take a look at our surface analysis. We have the remnants of Invest 99L, which is now just a broad tropical wave, but it is bringing some distinct impacts to portions of our area on this Tuesday. We also have another tropical wave just to the east of the Lesser Antilles that will be moving in tomorrow. That's going to be bringing some impacts there. We have what's becoming post-tropical storm Fernan that is moving off towards the east, and another robust tropical wave that's already beginning to merge off the West African coast, and that one will need close monitoring here over the next several days. This front, by the way, in this trough could certainly still bring some heavier rain to portions of the Bahamas. Now, the first thing in this video I want to acknowledge is that over the last several days, really over the last several weeks, many of you have dropped in the comments just how hot it has been in your area. These are live temperatures, which in Fahrenheit are well into the 90s. So we're talking about 34, 35, 36 degrees Celsius in some spots because we do have some upper 90s at the hour. This is the feels like temperature, or what we call the heat index. Now, it gets outrageously hot in a couple of spots. You get to 108, that's 42 degrees Celsius. Now look, I know my friends in the Caribbean, you guys are hardy souls. You can handle this heat for the most part, but please always remember the elderly and the young and have them avoid the midday sun if they can. And please take plenty of breaks and hydrate yourself. This is very rough conditions outside. And, you know, I wish I could be talking about just widespread storms to cool everyone off, but some are going to get that opportunity today, and that's, of course, thanks to what's left over of 99L. We're starting to see some thunderstorms really blow up today across portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So temperatures today, which were well into the 90s Fahrenheit in places like Santo Domingo and Bani and Barcelona and San Pedro de Macorís, are beginning to cool down. This is some hefty thunderstorm activity. You can see the live lightning count going up. It's kind of spreading to the north, trying to get closer to the Samana Peninsula and Santiago de los Caballeros. So the bottom line is a wet, stormy forecast. The tropical moisture feeding into the area from the south will cool things off, but could provide locally heavy rainfall. There could be a little bit of flooding issue here in portions of the Dominican Republic, so please keep that in mind. Going to swing off towards the east real quickly here and just show you that thunderstorms are beginning to develop in the western sides of Puerto Rico, from Monte Alto to Aguadilla in the Mayaguez area. Again, mainly rolling off towards the west. When it is not raining, it is stinking hot in this area. Temperatures again are in the lower 90s. Feels like numbers are into the triple digits across the Virgin Islands as well. So just a very steamy day with a few thunderstorms to try and cool things off, but not a lot of rain. Before we go back east, I want to swing over to my friends in Jamaica and kind of continue the trend from there because, again, 99L is working its way west. So now we're starting to see more thunderstorms beginning to develop over Jamaica. Now look at Montego Bay's feels like temperature before the storms beginning to develop. Hit 108 today, 42 degrees Celsius. Again, that's not the actual air temperature, but that was bad enough. That was in the lower 90s. Now beginning to get a little bit rain cooled. Now most of the thunderstorms have been out towards the western sides of the island, Hanover, Westmoreland parishes, portions of St. Elizabeth and St. James. The one thing that we've seen a lot of today, even in the central and the eastern sides of the island, is very gusty winds. Now, earlier today, I'm going to pause this here real quickly, guys. Earlier today, we had a couple of thunderstorms develop just to the west of Kingston, portions of St. Catherine and Clarendon parishes, then up towards the Linstead area. It wasn't a lot, but these areas of storms did bring some gusty winds. And I got a video today from Amoy Wright in the St. Catherine parish area of Jamaica, just west of Kingston, kind of the Port Moore Spanish Town area. And this is some of the wind. Now, again, not all of this wind is indicative of thunderstorms in the area. We've had widespread gusts without actually seeing a lot of rain across portions of Jamaica, but it has been a very windy afternoon in Jamaica, and that tells the story. Again, no rain falling from this view from Amoy here in the St. Catherine Parish, but very, very gusty winds. And that will continue to be the trend, but I do expect better thunderstorm chances out west. Again, we still have the strong wind and large wave advisory for the southern offshore waters, including Pedro and Moran Bank. Thunderstorms are really just getting going over Cuba at the hour, but they'll become more widespread. Santiago de Cuba has had a wind gust of nearly 40 miles an hour for today. Some of the moisture in the northern side of Haiti and the Dominican Republic could make a run towards Anagua and the Turks and Caicos, but generally speaking, I think we've got a dry forecast here. Same situation for most of the central side of the Bahamas on this Tuesday, and a few scattered showers developing at the hour in the northern Bahamas. Once again, we'll be watching off of the east coast of Florida for the storms there to make a run into those areas. There's a live look to the radar out of the Miami, Florida area. And again, we've had a good concentration of thunderstorms blow up from time to time right over Grand Bahama, Freeport, Lucaya, High Rock areas, on over towards Little Abaco and even Great Abaco at the hour. A couple more thunderstorms on the western and northern sides of Andros, Nassau, New Providence. Again, a couple of spotty showers there. Further north that you go in the island chain, the better chance you're going to have for a few thunderstorms late for today. Heavy rainfall and lightning to go along with some gusty winds, certainly not out of the question. So it's been a relatively cloudy day, but not a ton of rain in central Eleuthera. This is our live camera here. If you guys don't know, we have our live camera network to help tell the weather story in the Caribbean. So this is from Governor's Harbor there in central Eleuthera. Again, kind of a murky sky out there. Heat advisories, by the way, still in effect for the Bahamas. These areas continue to be plagued by extremely hot conditions. These are your current feels like temperatures, which again in a couple of spots have worked their way well above 100 degrees. It's been an extremely steamy day in the Yucatan. We're starting to get a couple of thunderstorms developing here. Let me bring back on our satellite data and you guys can see that. And again, the opportunity to cool things off, but when it is not stormy, your feels like numbers have made a run towards 110 Fahrenheit, again, right around 43 degrees Celsius. And it does matter. The feels like temperature, the humidity matters because that's what it really feels like when you step outside. And, actual air temperatures in the Merida area, about 97. A few thunderstorms developing in inland sections of Belize. So we haven't had a lot of coastal rain today, but for the San Ignacio area towards Orange Walk, a couple of thunderstorms to try and cool things off. We're trying to get a little bit of rain back over towards Roatan, Utila, and Guanaja at the hour. Again, hopefully a couple of thunderstorms to cool things off there. That's beginning to develop towards the La Ceiba area and certainly along the immediate eastern side of Honduras and Nicaragua. Thunderstorms have been a lot more active. Again, with Invest 99L's remnants here kind of feeding into this monsoon trough. It's just going to be a wetter, stormy day across the southern half of Central America, but this will feed northward as we get into our Wednesday and our Thursday as well. We'll swing over to the Lesser Antilles here. I'm going to bring on the visible satellite imagery. Now, we're in between our two systems, the remnants of 99L and the next tropical wave, which is on the way. Now, this one, again, is not going to develop, but it is an axis of disturbed weather with better moisture quality and content, and we're going to get some better shower chances to move into the Lesser Antilles as we get into our Wednesday afternoon and evening. Again, brisk, quick showers are possible today in Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, but many dry hours and locations. And again, temperatures today have been right around 90 degrees with feels like numbers in most spots above 100. Again, a pretty toasty afternoon in most areas. Feels like over 100 in Guadalupe. I really hope that that is not correct in Dominica and it didn't for a time feel like 120. That would be absurd. Hopefully that's just a sensor error, but you get the idea that it's a hot hot day. And, even with some of this passing cloud coverage, it really traps in the low level moisture and you don't get a lot of break from the heat, even though you get a little bit of cloud coverage. Same situation for Barbados and St. Lucia and Martinique. We've got our live camera in St. Lucia, Corinth, St. Lucia, live on this late Tuesday afternoon. And again, kind of a murky sky. There's still a little bit of haze. There's still a very low concentration of Saharan dust. And again, bit of a breeze from time to time, still some marine advisories, but relatively speaking, pretty docile weather across the area on this Tuesday, but we're going to crank it back up with healthier storm chances as we get into our Wednesday. Trying to get a couple of thunderstorms developing over Tobago area at the hour. You can see that, again, nice thunderstorm on the far southern tip of Tobago. It didn't last long, and again, not all of the island got it, and some of that tried to stream over towards Trinidad. Grenada has been relatively dry for today. Nueva Esparta going to try and build in a couple of showers and storms, and it's been a nice day so far in the ABC Islands. Aruba and Curacao have been in the lower 90s. We've had some fresh breezes. Willemstad, Curacao, 32 mile an hour wind, 33. Aruba, Oranjestad, 35. And you can see that live shot right there from Oranjestad. And again, look at the breakers. We haven't really seen a lot of that on this live camera since we've had it here at Meteo Mundo, but there's a little bit of wave action near the coastline for today with those fresh breezes outside, but still docile weather. Unfortunately, no rain. A lot of areas of the ABC Islands could use more rain opportunities, and we haven't seen it at least here in the short term. Friends, I appreciate you guys taking a quick second, hitting that like button for me. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You want these daily tropical updates and forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, you have found your home. Thank you for sharing this channel with your family and friends. And I tell you something, many of you have, and I truly do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for spreading the MM love. Thank you for finding other ways to support the channel. Our memberships are open. That's the join button. We have 2 tiers. You can become a member or a Team MM member. Super thanks are open as well. And I really appreciate all those who have found ways to support the channel in that variety. All right, so now we're going to look at what's going to be happening island by island over the next couple of days. In the short term, and I do mean between now and Friday, I don't expect there to be tropical development in our area. So this is mainly going to be the impacts of the tropical waves that I have already mentioned, and then we're going to look at how things could be changing in that development potential as we get a little bit deeper into the weekend. So let me bring up, for some reason that was weird for a second, it wasn't. Let me bring up our models here and begin to loop things up. I just have to reset one thing. That should do it for the most part. Okay, so let's take a look at how 99L is going to evolve. And again, it's not Invest anymore, but I mentioned that because that is the wave that is moving through central sides of the Caribbean right now, the remnants of that. And it is really tapping into the moisture along with the monsoon trough. So it is going to be a wet forecast, a squally forecast for the central and the western Caribbean over the next day or two, especially Jamaica, southern sides of Cuba, our friends in the Cayman Islands, all of the Yucatan, all of Central America, even back down towards the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and potentially spreading north towards Turks and Caicos and the southeast Bahamas. And eventually we'll also see the secondary wave coming in late tomorrow on Thursday. And again, that's going to freshen up the winds and bring better rain chances to the Lesser Antilles, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico as well. You guys know I need to wet my whistle in between talking here with these longer videos. So let's get into what's going to be happening. We will start off towards the west. So, places like Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, Montego Bay, Negril, Jamaica, rain chances should improve. The one thing that I do expect to see is windy conditions persist the next couple of days. That's even outside of any thunderstorm development. But likely, we're going to get some rain and storms to develop on the eastern parishes in the morning and early afternoon hours, and then just spread their way into central and western portions of the island the deeper into the day that we go. I think your Wednesday, your Thursday are the best chances of that. But there's more moisture in play, so there's a better opportunity for heavier rainfall. I mean, true rain. Something to really help you guys out. Now, not everyone's going to get it. Let's be clear about that. But the chance is there the next couple of days as the tropical wave, what was left of 99L, moves across your area. So I do have high chances for Jamaica the next couple of days. Big rain chances for Cuba. especially the southern side of the island. My friends in the Cayman Islands should see some healthier rain chances as well. Obviously, this comes with the opportunity for a few embedded thunderstorms, and that could produce some locally heavy rain over Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, and the Grand Cayman area. When you get a little bit farther south and where we got the combination of the wave and the monsoon trough, look at how wet Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras could be, and everything just kind of spiraling in towards San Pedro Sula and La Ceiba and Roatan, Utila, Guanaja, improving rain chances for Guatemala, Belize City, Dangriga, San Ignacio, San Pedro, and even spreading into the Yucatan, Tulum, Cozumel, Cancun, Campeche, Merida. Good tropical moisture in play. Still steamy days, right? Locally heavy rainfall, but the opportunity is going to be pretty darn widespread, at least through Thursday afternoon, and if not even on Friday as well. Back over to the Bahamas, it's still more local. Some of this moisture will get into the Turks and Caicos and the southeast Bahamas, but we still have our stalled frontal boundary over the northern side of Florida, which will promote better rain chances for the northern and northwest Bahamas. So Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, the Abacos, Bimini, Andros, New Providence, Eleuthera, maybe even Cat Island and Exuma, all with better opportunities overall, but still scattered in nature, still extremely hot when it's not raining, but locally heavier downpours and a lot of lightning and some gusty winds come along for the ride. Again, if you live in the Dominican Republic and Haiti, we've had some healthy storms today. We'll run it back for tomorrow as well. Still expecting a pretty good opportunity here. I really expect things to just stay on the wetter side, so this could lead to some flooding issues. I'll be monitoring that. Again, you know, Hispaniola is a very mountainous island, and if it hits some of the higher terrain, it can easily flood some of those low-lying areas very quickly. When you're looking at 50 to 75 millimeters of rain, or 2 to 3 inches on a daily basis in a couple of spots. Not everyone's going to get that every day, but that opportunity is going to be there. We'll improve the rain chances across Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, again, with the next tropical wave coming through beginning late Wednesday and on Thursday. Rain chances will improve overall for the Lesser Antilles. Now look, this is still relatively shallow moisture, so don't get me wrong. I don't expect there to be high rainfall totals in these areas, but fast-moving showers and maybe 1 or 2 on a daily basis as possible for all of the Lesser Antilles, from Anguilla to Antigua, Barbuda, all the way back down towards Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, and St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, all of these areas will have an opportunity to see some of this rainfall over the next couple of days. Again, is it going to be extensive? No, but is the opportunity going to be there? Yes. Could it kick up surf and sea conditions from time to time? I do expect that. More than likely, no flood issues here, but hopefully if you're desperate for some more additional rain, you'll get that. We'll get a couple of scattered showers over Nueva Esparta. Not a ton of rain for the ABC Islands. It's still about the breeze here, guys. Again, the trade winds in the Caribbean is what ripped apart 99L, and those trade winds will stay brisk in Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Rain chances will improve in Bermuda Thursday and Friday, the next trough coming off the United States East Coast, and that one could get interesting, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first, your island-by-island rain chance looks like this. For the Northwest Bahamas, 40% chance tomorrow, back down to a 30 on Thursday and Friday. Right around a 30% chance in the Central and Southeast Bahamas, maybe slightly higher from time to time, Turks and Caicos. Still more isolated in nature, but there's a chance. Cuba's rain chances are exceptionally high the next couple of days. Cayman Islands rain chances build late tomorrow, but especially Thursday and Friday. Belize City's rain chances really start to get cranked up as well. And again, some locally heavy downpours possible, especially Thursday and Friday. In Cancun and Cozumel, high some widespread thunderstorm chances as we roll closer to the weekend. Jamaica's rain chances and storms are high with very windy conditions across the island the next couple of days. So, you know, the large wave and strong wind advisory should continue and could be, you know, extended to other areas, both coastal and offshore water. So please check in with local government officials on that one, but I expect it to be hoisted the next few days. Dominican Republic's rain chances high. Same thing for Puerto Rico. A little bit of a lull Thursday, then another tropical axis of moisture comes in on Friday, so improving rain chances there. Solid rain chances, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Virgin Gorda, Roadtown, Tortola, Anegada, Yost Van Dyke, and the Virgin Islands. Bermuda's rain chances again build into Thursday and Friday. And again, solid rain chances in Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, highlighted by tomorrow and Friday. Slightly drier Thursday. These are fast-moving tropical waves. They're not developing, but they're pushing in more moisture with better opportunities tomorrow and Friday, but still at least a couple of scattered showers on Thursday. So 50 to 60% chance from Antigua, Barbuda, all the way down to St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Staying higher, northern sides of the Lesser Antilles on Friday, drier for places like Martinique, SVG, and St. Lucia on Friday. Barbados rain chances are best tomorrow, then drier Thursday, Friday. Grenada's rain chances, the same situation. Staying a little bit higher in TNT, but still more scattered than anything. Some locally heavy rainfall for Suriname and Guyana. Nueva Esparta, some decent rain chances over the next 48 hours. And Nueva Esparta, not a lot. Oh, no, excuse me. ABC Islands, not a lot in the way of some rain. Wish it was better, but unfortunately, I don't expect it to be. When you look at the wave action, look for those greens and even a couple of yellows there. Central, western sides of the Caribbean. That's where we're going to see the fresh winds continuing to move through. Finally, we're beginning to see the wave action in the western Atlantic basin from Erin, from Fernand, beginning to diminish later this week and into the weekend. Still could see some fresh easterlies swinging into the eastern Caribbean. We certainly don't have the wave action that we've had lately, but there could be, especially in the western Caribbean towards Central America, additional small craft advisories and marine advisories to keep a close eye on. Rainfall totals could get quite interesting in many locations. This is the European model. You'll obviously note what 99L's remnants are doing as it moves off to the west, but I mentioned this developing trough stalling out over the weekend and early next week off of the east coast of Florida, just off the United States East Coast. Very heavy rainfall is possible there, but things could get a little bit more squirrely along with that. So heavy rain because it's not moving. And again, some spots of heavier rain in portions of the Windward Islands. We're going to see better, higher rain chances for Hispaniola, Cuba, Jamaica, and the Cayman Islands. Widespread 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches of rain, 50 to 100 millimeters over the next several days, but some spots could even go much higher than that. All right. Now let's talk tropics, my friends. Obviously, this is Fernand moving away, extratropical, post-tropical, whatever you want to call it, no threat to any land. That is good news. In the short term, we're looking pretty good in the Caribbean and in the Gulf. I do want to mention what's going to be happening here. We already have our next tropical wave beginning to develop. This one has the potential to quickly form as we get into Friday and over the weekend. So we'll be monitoring that one. Nice blow up with thunderstorms, but it has yet to emerge off the coast. This is the next tropical wave you saw in the surface analysis. Doesn't look like that one's going to develop right now. And again, this is the tropical wave that doesn't look like much, but there's a little bit of spin out there that'll be swinging in some moisture into the eastern Caribbean in the next 48 hours. This trough, though, that's going to be emerging off the United States East Coast is one to watch for potential development. And let's show you that. So I'm going to take the model and I'm going to go out to just Tuesday. So we're not going too far out in time. We're going out basically a week. 2 areas that I want to talk about. First of all, with this trough, we have already had other development areas off of trough lines, Eastern Gulf, the western sides of the Atlantic in this Atlantic hurricane season. Now, it's a little bit more unusual this time of the year to get one to spit out this far and to have signs of potential development. But as this stalls out, you're still going to get waves of energy here off the Florida coastline and just northeast of the northern Bahamas to have to monitor for signs of potential tropical development. So when we look at this here, as we get towards, this is going to be Saturday and then Sunday, you can just see there's a little bit of broader spin here and a little bit early into Monday, all right? Now, not much so far, but along that line, we could start to see a little bit of spin, all right? That's area number 1. Area number 2 is way out here, and that's one to monitor again for the coming time. It hasn't even emerged off the coast. There it is, but it's coming off of the African coast in a pretty low level latitude. Now, look, let's be clear. For the end of August, this is not a bad scenario. For me to tell you within the next 5 days, I don't expect there to be tropical development. Let me show you the European model. Okay, this is the Atlantic basin. So I'm going to step over here. Let's talk about these areas. Now, with the tropical wave that's already off the African coast, some, not many, but some of the European models do try to develop this as we get to Tuesday morning. That's the more robust wave that will merge off the West African coast probably on Monday, but show signs of quick development. So, here in the MDR of the Atlantic, the European model holds on to a couple of things. GFS model doesn't really. But you also see that we have a couple of areas here along the United States East Coast. That's Tuesday, but if I bring you back to Sunday morning, this is the kind of emergence of this in the development of it. So right off of that trough line that's stalling out, beginning on Sunday morning, the European model begins to pick up on a couple of areas of potential low-level development. That's a possibility. And just kind of develops it later Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, all of it moving up the coast of the United States and west of Bermuda, but that is an area to monitor because, again, this trough line will extend back into the Eastern Gulf. So we also have to watch the Eastern Gulf to see if the models want to pick up on anything trying to wrap up there farther west of Florida, rather than just off of the East Coast. Friends, I appreciate you guys. You can follow us across all of our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video to help tell the weather story in your area, and I always appreciate those. It's myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Look, as always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. And while you're down there, I do appreciate you guys taking a second and hitting the like and subscribe buttons. And please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. You get wind, hail, hurricane damage of any kind. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They offer free consultation and policy reviews, so you really have nothing to lose. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Friends, you have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with the latest forecast in your area, right here at Meteo Mundo.